The world will never run out of voices eager to belittle you, to mock, to judge, to remind you of your flaws, your failures, your shortcomings. Step into any room, and someone will be sharpening their tongue, ready to cut you down. And here's the raw truth. If you allow every word, every glance, every smirk to define you, then you are nothing but a puppet in their hands. A man ruled not by his reason, but by the noise of others. You cannot stop judgment. You cannot silence every critic. And you cannot demand respect from a world that thrives on envy and weakness. But you can do something greater. You can build a fortress inside yourself that no insult, no sneer, no opinion can penetrate. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed, and you haven't been." This is the art. This is the discipline. The mastery of becoming untouchable, unbothered, unshaken when the world tries to drag you down. So the question is not, how do I stop people from judging me? The question is, when they do, will I still stand like a stone in the storm? Finally stop. Picture this. You're at work. You've poured days into a project, every detail sharpened like a blade. And then, in a meeting, your boss glances at it, shrugs, and with a few dismissive words, "This isn't that impressive," he strips the oxygen from the room. Your chest tightens, your jaw locks. In a single moment, your value feels questioned, or maybe it's at home. A family gathering. You speak your mind just once, and someone laughs. Not because you're funny, but because they want to cut you down. They roll their eyes, they whisper to others, and suddenly, you feel small, like a child being told to sit quietly while the adults speak. We've all been there. The sting of being belittled, the quiet rage of being judged. And if you're honest, you've replayed those moments in your head for days, even weeks. You imagine what you should have said, the perfect comeback, the dagger of words you could have thrown back. But deep down, you know the truth. Every time you replay it, every time you stew in anger, you hand over your power. You let them live rent-free in your mind. You let their weakness become your chain. That's the trap most never escape. They believe respect comes from winning verbal duels, from fighting back louder, harsher, sharper. But the Stoic knows a higher path. Respect is not taken from the approval of others. It is forged from within, from mastery over the only battlefield that matters, your own mind. When someone belittles you, the instinct is to strike back, to meet their barb with your own, to prove them wrong, to remind them you are not to be underestimated. But the Stoics saw this as slavery, not power. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "If anyone can refute me, show me I'm making a mistake, or looking at things from the wrong perspective, I'll gladly change. It's the truth I'm after, and the truth never harmed anyone." Notice the strength there. Marcus doesn't waste energy on judgment, insults, or the shallow opinions of others. His only loyalty is to truth. That's a power no insult can pierce. Seneca sharpened this further. You act like mortals in all that you fear, and like immortals in all that you desire. In other words, when someone mocks you, you fear it as though it could end you. Yet their opinion is nothing more than sound vibrations in the air. Why give it the weight of a sword when it's only smoke? Epictetus, a slave-turned-philosopher, endured mockery most of us could never bear. His leg was broken by his master, his dignity challenged daily. Yet he said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." He understood what most never grasp. No insult has power unless you hand it the keys to your inner citadel. Here lies the brutal truth. When you react with anger, you are chained. When you brood in silence, you are shackled. The person who belittles you has already taken what they wanted, not your dignity, but your reaction. You've let them dictate the state of your soul. But when you refuse, when you meet mockery with composure, when you meet judgment with calm clarity, you reveal the smallness of their attack. You show that your worth is rooted not in their approval, but in your unshakable command of self. The Stoic path does not mean silence out of fear. It means silence out of strength. It does not mean passive acceptance of abuse. It means active refusal to let others own your emotions. You can respond, you can set boundaries, you can walk away, but always from a place of mastery, not from wounded pride. This is the fire of Stoicism, to train your mind so ruthlessly that no insult can breach its walls, to treat every judgment, every mocking laugh not as a wound but as training. As Marcus said, the best revenge is not to be like your enemy. And so the next time someone tries to reduce you with words, remember, they are not revealing your weakness, they are revealing their own. Your task is not to react, but to remain unshaken, to become the stone wall their arrows shatter against. Stop being soft. Stop letting words dictate the state of your soul. If you want to master yourself, you need weapons sharper than pride and shields stronger than ego. Here are 5 cold, unapologetic Stoic tactics to kill the power of insults, judgment, and belittlement. 1. Control the frame. Own the arena. Every insult is an invitation into someone else's frame. They want you to play defense, to react. Don't. Instead, own the arena. When they try to lower you, remain calm, unshaken. Speak slow, breathe steady. Look them in the eye without flinching. The silence will make them crumble. Remember Epictetus. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. The frame is always yours, if you refuse to give it away. 2. Use the "is this mine?" filter. When judgment comes, ask, does this belong to me? If it's a false insult, it's smoke, irrelevant. If it's true, then it's feedback, fuel for growth. Either way, it cannot wound you unless you take it personally. Marcus Aurelius taught, if it's endurable, then endure it. Stop complaining. Filter every word through this lens and keep only what strengthens you. Deploy indifference as a weapon. Indifference terrifies weak men. They crave reaction. They thrive on offense. When you respond with genuine indifference, not fake smugness, but true inner calm, they are left powerless. Seneca wrote, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." The insult is nothing. Your imagination creates the wound. Kill it by refusing to give it oxygen. 4. Turn mockery into training. Treat every judgment as a sparring partner. Each insult is a chance to strengthen your emotional armor. You wouldn't curse the weights in the gym, you use them to build yourself. Do the same with mockery. Think like a warrior sharpening his blade. Every attack is resistance that makes you sharper, harder, untouchable. 5. Execute the higher standard. The greatest revenge is self-command. When belittled, don't match pettiness with pettiness. Show them their weakness by rising higher. Set boundaries if necessary. Cut toxic people out if needed. But never let them drag you down into their swamp. As Marcus said, the best revenge is not to be like your enemy. Here's the unvarnished truth. You cannot stop people from judging you. You cannot silence the mockers. But you can destroy their power by refusing to hand them your mind. Anger is weakness. Overreaction is submission. But mastery, calm, cold, deliberate, makes you untouchable. The battlefield is not their words. It's your reaction. Win that war, and no one can ever own you again. You will be belittled, you will be judged, you will be mocked. That's the tax of existence. But hear this, no man can touch the fortress inside you unless you hand him the keys. The world will always hurl stones. The question is whether you crumble under them, or use them to build your citadel. Marcus Aurelius faced betrayal, mockery, and constant judgment as Emperor of Rome. Yet he wrote, choose not to be harmed, and you won't be. Don't feel harmed, and you haven't been. Seneca endured exile and whispers of disgrace, but he said, a gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials. Epictetus was born a slave, insulted daily, yet he declared, if anyone tells you that you are wrong and you are not hurt by it, you have won. The challenge is simple, but brutal. Stop letting small men dictate the temperature of your soul. Stop flinching at words. Stop surrendering to shadows. Stand tall, breathe deep, and remember, your reaction is your kingdom. Guard it like a lion. Now it's your turn. If you felt the weight of these words, don't just nod and move on. Step into the arena with us. Like this video. Share it with someone who's drowning in judgment. Subscribe to Timeless Stoic Mind and build your inner citadel alongside others who refuse to break. And drop a comment below. What insult or judgment are you refusing to carry anymore? This is not just a video, it's training, it's war. And the war is for your mind. Will you keep letting others own you, or will you finally stop?